I am here for Kagurabachi chapter 119, the Irishima Talks Part 3. Pretty funny that they are being called talks by Hokazono, considering that very minimal words have actually been spoken between the two groups. The Mikaboshi have only presented basically ultimatums. They only want things that's not even like a give and take here. So, and it already broke into warfare. It already broke into a battle. Four members of Shikoku have already been, um, you know, taken out. And seemingly, from where we left off last chapter, and we got to see kind of that flash forward of Shiba, it is about to get pretty hairy here, so I'm actually quite nervous. I'm excited, but I'm quite nervous. So, my thoughts for the chapter before diving into it, because I have not read it yet, just real quick, is I'm assuming this is the chapter we're going to get to see. I've been calling him the general in the past few ones, but the man on the couch that had his neck slit, obviously, he is not dead. So I'm assuming we're going to get to see him, and I think it is going to go very, very poorly. Obviously, this whole situation on Irishima is to help establish the Mikaboshi and the members of Shikoku as the villains, or at least the opposing force. So it is not surprising that they are getting violent very quickly. Now, for this chapter, I'm hoping, I mean, I just hope, obviously, we know Shiba makes it out of there, but my hope is that not everybody dies. So, Mashiro, Hiroto, and Yoshinojo, I'm assuming one or two of them will not make it out of this chapter alive. And if I had to take a guess, I mean, I hope it's not Mashiro. He's just, he's cool. He he's young. So I just selfishly, I just like I don't want him to go yet. And I would think for the Mikaboshi specifically that if they were to ascertain that the other two, so Hiroto and Yoshinojo, if they were to somehow find out that they were Soga clan, that those would be the people they would prioritize to potentially kill. So, but that's about it. Honestly, this from where our last chapter left off, there's not too much to really delve into. I mean, maybe I'm hoping I was hoping there was going to be more discussion because obviously we got to figure out where the where Shikoku, the island, came from and its residents, who they are, and now why they are, you know, coming after the Seki. So I was hoping that through the talks we were going to get, some more information and character from from the people, but they kind of just went straight into combat mode. But at least from I'm kind of just taking a glance at the first page here. It looks like we might be getting some additional lore, which gets me very excited. So, without further ado, going to just dive into chapter 119, exploration. So, we see the general guy here still looking quite deceased, but we know he is not. And let's see. Okay, interesting. So, on the island where the Mikaboshi took refuge, they encountered an unusual stone. So, so this is someone from their group, presumably speaking, because he says our ancestors, the Mikaboshi, once ruled the land of Japan, which we had kind of known from that professor guy a few chapters ago. He had said that they were the most prominent and most powerful, like sorcery family in Japan or clan. And he says they lost power when the Soga clan led a devastating insurrection. So my question is that were the Mikaboshi even bad? Or was this a Soga clan play for power? And that's why they led the insurrection. Because it's like, on one hand, you could have an insurrection of a tyrannical clan if the Mikaboshi were, terrible people. But then on the other hand, we know when it comes to status and power, it leads people to do a lot of crazy things. And it can even make enemies of people that aren't truly, bad. So I'm really curious to see if we'll ever figure out exactly why they led the insurrection, but who knows? Desperately, they prayed and prayed for their descendants to live in peace forevermore. So this is like a giant, they were on an island where they took refuge and they encountered it looks like a massive stone of Datanseki. And they are praying to it for peace. And then it says, oh, and we're going back to kind of like that old school style artistic sketch that I really, really like. It looks like those old paintings. And even as a Soga clan's hero, Ukizane Soga annihilated the entire island. Hello. You just took out the entire island? Okay, so Ukizane was the hero of the Soga clan. Wow, that's a really, really cool shot of like the old mural style Japanese painting. And yeah, it's like literally Ukazane looks like he's floating in the sky and the island is crumbling, but the giant Datanseki stone is also going down, but it's like lighting up. And it's surrounded by Mikaboshi bodies, in the water as well. And as the king of the Mikaboshi sank into the ocean, the stone answered their prayers. Interesting. Okay, and so basically, with the powers conferred by the stone, in the darkness of the ocean floor, he created a country for us alone. So it's like a condensed ball of what looks like, because it doesn't look like stone, it looks like the roots that we then see, kind of looks like the thick tree roots that we see Shikoku when it was risen up out of the water, when we see the boat trying to get to it, it's like those thick tree branches that seem to stem down into the water. So that would make a lot of sense. And we see this giant dark cavern, assumedly, obviously, inside of this like sphere. And it's got like giant Detanseki coming from the ceiling, kind of like a stalactite. And there's a big giant amphitheater with, I mean, just thousands of people gathered around it. And on land, the Soga clan and their retainers flourished while the sacred stone hid us from our enemies. Okay. And now we are back to current time. And we've got the old guy, just like chilling in his floating chair. And Sheba here says, now it's just you. I don't know about that. Okay. And the old man speaks now and says, you are Soga, aren't you? And he's looking at Hiroto. Okay. So somehow he just knew. And this is what I talked about at just the very beginning before the chapter is like, well, if they find out that they are Soga, I would assume that they kind of have a bone to pick specifically with you, sir. So, rutro. Okay, so we have a name. So the old man is saying that the man whose throat you slit is Aryu. Aryu. Aryu Mikaboshi. My son and the crown prince of the Mikaboshi. Okay, so he's not just a general, he is the crown prince of their clan. So that's not like, that's a problem. That's a problem. I mean, and the way this dude is so chill, obviously, like the guy's not dead. Aryu. I believe that is how you would pronounce his name. Shiba here. I mean, fair point. Like Shiba here is like, it was self defense. We just acted in self defense because you had already killed those two Japanese like bodyguards to the kind of like politician dude, and you ignored our warnings and you brought the hostility to us. It truly was self defense. And I completely agree with Shiba here. See, and this okay. This is not they're not talks. They're not talks because Shiva here is even trying to extend the olive branch again to say there's no need for, more death than there already has been on either side. And he's like, we want to send the delegate back home alive. Obviously, that's a good idea. And he points out the fact that if your son is the crown prince, then you must be the king, right? And the guy just says, I have no more to say to you. Like, all right. Conversation again over. So short. It's just I mean, that's the thing is they came here as a declaration of war. Our group, the Japanese group, came here hoping for some sort of negotiation to take place. They came here to say, this is what we want. Take it or leave it. If you want to leave it, it's war. And we have war. Okay. And we have what? So on this page, oh, I kind of passed over that. The like politician dude on the couch is like, yeek, like kind of like reacting kind of funny, like, yee, like kind of scared or something. And Mashiro actually kind of like picks up on this. He's behind Shiba and he kind of like picks up on like, what the heck is going on with that guy over there? And then we come to this page and Mashiro's like, what? Or Shiba says what, but Mashiro is kind of like walking over towards the politician dude. And the politician dude eyes are literally bleeding. There's just blood. I'm assuming he's just dead. So he just like got killed by Asiu, right? Asiu. No, Asiu. Aryu. Aryu. Got killed by Aryu. And then the king or leader or father says, I came to bear witness. Bear witness? Oh no, that's not good. Wait a second. No, I haven't turned the page. I have not turned the page, but Hokazono he did something that is super wow. He's doing something that is like really cool, but also I'm kind of I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I haven't turned the page. I don't really want to turn the page, but I got to call this out. We see the side angle view of the beach with Mashiro looking towards the couches with Aryu and the politician dude who's now dead. And then you have the water that has the reflection of what's above it. But then we hear a wood, like a boom, like a noise, and you can see in the reflection of the water, you can see Aryu is in front of Mashiro, and he looks like he's punching him. Bro, I don't want to. I don't want to look at the other page. I don't because I just have a absolutely horrible feeling about this. I don't want Mashiro to die, guys. I don't want it. Maybe he's just like knocking him unconscious. Maybe this is. I'm coping. I'm coping super hard right now. That is super cool though. I gotta admit that I don't know if I've ever seen that honestly in manga. Hokazono has just a certain flair with his action paneling and like the kinetic energy that's within it. And he does some very, very unique things That is crazy. I'm gonna turn the page. I'm turning the page. Okay, we see Aryu. No, 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 no. He did. He literally just punched a hole in Mashiro's torso. Just come on. I said the one person outside of Sheba. I was kind of hoping that just these Soka guys were gonna get it. Not Mashiro. I mean, I talked about it last chapter where like we don't see him in the current day, and clearly he was like pretty close with Sheba. And if we weren't seeing him in current day, he probably wasn't alive. But oh gosh, you can survive that maybe with sorcery. And they're all four of them. She was like, no way. I mean, Mashiro right here at the very last panel, his eyes went from surprised to kind of locked in. So I don't know if he's gonna try to like go for the counterattack here. He's locking in seemingly his potential last moments here. Okay, let's keep going. All right, yeah, we got Aku shockwaves pinning him down from omnidirections. So that's right, Mashiro. You just took an absolutely devastating blow, lethal blow, and you still countered with your sorcery to try to give your squad an opportunity to take this guy out. And he says, you wasted your ambush on me. But again, Aryu chilling. Yoshinojo's sliding in from behind, coming for a sword strike. Aryu spins, blocks with his arm, but we have Sheba coming in from the top rope. He's like up above behind Aryu's back, teleporting in. And we have Yoshinojo commenting that this guy's hard. Pause. He's striking and it's hard. His arm in the guard is hard, but it just says hard. And Mashiro is shocked by saying he can still move because he's saying he can still move under Aku's influence, locking him down. And we haven't even seen this guy activate the Datenseki yet. Like we haven't seen the black like the spirit energy coming off of him yet. And Sheba says, "Take a rest." Okay, so he's planning on teleporting this dude out. Whoosh. Yep, they take him out. He leaves Mashiro there. Good. Mashiro does not need to be involved in this fight anymore at this point. We're seeing in the trees. Okay, now the I don't know if it's just the cape of Aryu, but it seems to have more of kind of like the black spirit energy coming off of it, but I can't tell if it's just his cloak. It may just be like an artistic way to look at it. But we have Sheba and Yoshinojo here. And he points out the fact that he thought Hiroto had finished him off, obviously from slicing his throat. Most anybody would die from that attack. Uh, talks about how insane that ambush was. Okay, and then here we have Hiroto, and he's saying Kurotsuchi. And the ground beneath Aryu like caves in, and it looks Is it looks like it caved in, but it's not like pulling him under, so I don't think it has something to do with the earth specifically. Maybe he's like applying some sort of pressure. Kurotsuchi. What is that? That sounds familiar. I don't know why that sounds familiar. Like I feel like I've heard that as an attack from like a different series, or I should like know what this means in Japanese maybe. But Um, as a general principle, sorcery uses the body of the wielder as its substrate. The sorcery passed down through the Soga male line demands exceptionally advanced physical skills developed through extreme physical conditioning and sword play. Okay. So we got Hiroto. He's floating up in the sky and he's got like this black sphere behind him, which looks kind of going down a little bit more. It looks, yes, just like I believe his name was Ukizane. Looks just like Ukizane from that like mural painting. So that must have been the type of sorcery. Obviously, it says passed down through the male line of the Soga clan. And that must be how he used that sorcery to sink the island that the Mikaboshi had taken refuge on. And we have Aryu here saying this weight in that black sphere behind him. The power that sank our ancestors into the ocean. Okay, sure enough. Hiroto Soga, the only living practitioner of Kurotsuchi sorcery. Does that mean gravity? Does that mean it looks, operates all like gravity, which this is sick. This is honestly, this is so sweet. But he's the only living practitioner of Kurotsuchi sorcery. Ah, I feel like he's doing the thing. Hokuzona's doing the thing where he's showing us some hype from this character. And I feel like all this is going to do, because clearly Hiroto is exceptionally powerful and he wields a very powerful type of uh, hereditary sorcery for the Soga clan. And I just have a feeling that he is going to lose. He's doing this. He's gosh, no, he's cool too. He's cool. I like his design. The sorcery seems to be a like gravity. I'm assuming, I don't know. Someone could probably let me know in the comments, like if Kurotsuchi just translates to like gravity or like dark energy or something. Because I feel like I'm just like missing something obvious. But from everything we're seeing, it seems to be some sort of gravity ability. He comes down to the ground, goes for a slice, flips the blade around, and then thumps the end of the handle, and then the entire ground like concaves down, clearly putting exceptional pressure on top of Aryu here. Okay, and then we're cutting back to Mashiro on the beach, just trying to survive. We must not go hungry. Who's talking to you? The dude who got decapitated by Mashiro is talking? Yo, how are you still alive? Clearly, the Seki, considering that Aryu, if he really did get his throat slashed, which I'm assuming he really did, they clearly have some sort of extreme vitality, or they can somehow use the power of the Seki to maybe heal themselves or keep themselves alive through fatal injury. I don't know. We must not allow the enemy to seize the stone. They promised? He says, we must not go hungry. Okay. But then he says, we must not allow the enemy to seize the stone they promised. Who is they? Who is they? What do you mean? I thought the they. That kills me. That kills me. I need to know, who is they? So is there someone or something, like, because we okay. I'm going to go on like just a teeny little like thread here that my brain is going down. Could be completely wrong, probably is. But we assumed, or we had seen everything, that once the residents of Shikoku were taken out, the Seitei War happens, we're fighting against the residents of Shikoku that we now know are the Mikaboshi. clan. And then we have Akimura ending the entire island of Shikoku through the malediction. And then we assumed, or like the general populace, Japan, the Kamunabi that then gets formed. But we assumed that then, yes, the threat was neutralized. Then they managed to capture Akimura, but he kind of was like, yeah, the job's done, and basically just like let himself be captured. Is there somebody else, like some other group, some person that is actually going to show back up? Like job's not finished, sort of. I'm just so there's somebody else beyond. We must not allow the enemy to seize the stone they promised. Who's they? We're not supposed to know, apparently. I'm gonna just I could keep kind of racking and spinning my brain on that one, but I'm not going to. Then we see some feet walking. Okay, I'm assuming this is Aryu. He's like walking through the residence. Okay. Our enemy is the Soga clan and those who prosper under their auspices. And then we see some like centipedes and some beetles and some spiders, so all that imagery of the insects. Oh, and they're like crushing them all up. So have they just been feeding off of the has the only thing that they've been able to eat down there? Because the one guy, the decapitated guy says, we must not go hungry. I don't know. So they're crushing up the insects and mixing it into some sort of bowl concentrated thing, and he's drinking it. It kind of reminds me of, I think it's what, like the Kodoku ritual or something like that, where they take all the, like if you've read Jujutsu Kaisen, this reminds me similar of like the bath that is performed for Sukuna, where they like take all the cursed spirits and like strain them and then kind of drink the liquid that come or he bathed in the liquid that came off of them, but these guys are like drinking it. But I think it was previously you put all the different poisonous insects like in a pot and then they all kill each other until like one is left kind of deal. This is very reminiscent of that. We must not, so we have them on that like circular dais that we saw in the beginning of the chapter. We must not starve. We must not allow the enemy to seize the stone. So obviously the stone on Irishima. So, yep, the power of the Dattenseki is fundamental to our civilization. The Mikaboshi born here are born with the affinity for the Dattenseki, which is kind of what I talked about a few chapters ago. It's like they basically evolved to have an affinity for it. And among us, okay, and then we got this group of 6 guys in similar garb to Aryu here. Also, after he drinks it, you see like the black spirit energy kind of like flowing off of them. And it says, among us, the 6 guardians chosen from pure blooded Mikaboshi by their prayers and blood, they bear the original power once wielded by the Mikaboshi king. Okay, so we got the 6 pure blooded guardians who they bear the original power once wielded by the Mikaboshi king, which I'm assuming is like that insect type sorcery that they said they used to wield. Reconstruction of the environment. That divine power transformed a place devoid of light and air into a space for human survival. So that is actually the power that they wield. It's the reconstruction of the environment. Okay, so that's how he used the Dattenseki to basically the king from the flashback use the Datenseki to seemingly amplify his ability to reconstruct the environment around them, to transform, to create this place that they were able to survive on the ocean floor. It reaches a realm far beyond mere fortification magic. Oh no, this is not good. This is not good. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about. The Guardians can draw upon the true realm of the Datenseki. And under the influence of Hiroto's Kurotsuchi sorcery, Aryu's foot begins to levitate and he says, Sumika. And then just have tons of energy rippling off him. And then we have a white centipede energy flowing off of his body. And that's where the chapter ends. Oh gosh. This is what does Sumika mean in Japanese? What I'm sorry, I'm looking it up real fast because I feel like Sumika meaning sounds like residence or dwelling or home. Hmm. I don't know. It looks I'm gonna go back. I'm just I'm thinking here, thinking like crazy. Uh okay. So he is like activating the true power of the Datenseki here. This is just absolutely horrible. This is what I feared, especially for Hiroto here. He was obviously going in, but it is not going to last very much longer. And Shiba here is sweating. He's sweating. He looks shocked. And as he should, because Aryu is now exhibiting a level of power that Shiba and anybody who has been involved in sorcery in Japan has not witnessed or really can even conceive of. Wow. What a chapter. Chapter 119. I'm so pumped already for next chapter. No, no, it wasn't enough. That went by so fast. Okay. So, this is the end of the chapter. I am going to do a little bit of post chapter thoughts here. So if you only came kind of for the exploration of the chapter, then it's all done. But now I'm going to kind of go into just some quick thoughts here about the chapter and just general ideas. So this was really good because we got some additional answers to how the Mikaboshi have actually survived. That then the king of the Mikaboshi was able to restructure using the Datenseki. He was able to restructure the environment around him to create a place that they could actually survive on the ocean floor. And they've survived this long, and through that time, they became the Mikaboshi became they were born with an affinity to the Datenseki. So it is literally like through evolution. So through the years of them being surrounded by it and surviving in this sort of environment, they gained an affinity to it, and now they can actually access the true realm of the Datenseki with no conduit. So no blade, nothing. Oh gosh. Uh so going back real fast. So we have Mashiro. I don't think now that we're seeing Aryu activating the true realm and presumably about to absolutely pop off. Mashiro already pretty much took a fatal attack here or what would be fatal without any intervention. So, and with Aryu powering up, I don't think Mashiro's making it off the island. I truly think Shiba is going to be the lone survivor, and it has to just do with the fact that he probably just teleports out because and I it's not out of cowardice either. One, Shiba will come to recognize that nothing I do is going to be able to actually touch this guy. Right now, I'm just completely outgunned. And two, he needs to be able to get this information back to the government, the clans, everybody. And they need to very, very quickly learn how to utilize the Danseki to even be able to come close. Because yes, Aryu is the crown prince of the Mikaboshi and presumably what I would believe to probably be the strongest. But we know that there are now 6 guardians that have the pure blood of the Mikaboshi, and they are able to wield and bear the original power once wielded by the king of the Mikaboshi. So they need wait a second. I just realized something too. Is there's six enchanted blades, right? 6 guardians of of the Mikaboshi, 6 enchanted blades. Interesting. So are we gonna get like 1v1 matchups? Um, this makes me actually think now, this makes me think of there's that panel when it talks about this Seite war and the scale of it, and it like shows that huge battlefield with like crazy stuff all around it. My assumption is that is literally the enchanted blade wielders versus these 6 guardians of the Mikaboshi. And they're all just going true realm craziness. This is sick. I hope that's the case. I really do. This sets up some crazy matchups. But Aryu here, gosh, from a design wise, he looks immaculate. And Sumika, I'm assuming, has a different meaning. And I just not being a Japanese speaking person from just like doing Google Translate there, I don't think it encompasses what this is because we literally see the centipede around him. We see it, but it's white. The Magatsumi Akimura, there's so much there. And it could literally just be a coincidence. I doubt it's a coincidence. It could be his hatred for the Mikaboshi after like probably losing a bunch of members of his clan, and they are like the ancient enemy of the Mikaboshi anyways. So maybe he did it out of like spite. That's why his powers look that way. So he's like, I'm going to utilize kind of the same type of powers as you guys. I don't know. I don't know. There's still so much more that we need to know. But that's about it's not looking good. It's not looking good for anybody but Shiba. So I'm assuming next chapter he's probably gonna wrap this up cleanly now that he is seems to be activating like the real power of the Datenseki and bringing out the true realm. But I mean, I can't lie, I'm extremely excited and hyped. It's not good for our characters, but this guy is amazing design wise, and I'm really, really excited to see, what he can do with his powers and the Datenseki. So that is going to wrap it up for me. I appreciate you if you've made it this far into the video, as always. And I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you're at. Peace.